Well, hello, and welcome to the In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, where the Vernon, Texas High School class of 1982 alumni come home to tell the stories that shaped us long after we left the halls of VHS. I'm Ray Gerald, and every episode I have the privilege of visiting with a fellow Vernon Lion to revisit our high school days in Big V and share moments, memories, and milestones that carried us from our Vernon roots to wherever life took us next. These are the real-life journeys of classmates that walked the same halls, cheered under the same Friday night lights, roamed the Lion's Den floor, dragged Wilbarger Street, and watched the same Vernon, Texas sky light up. Our stories always begin in Vernon. Go, Lions! Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Donna Hulett Love. Hey, Donna Faye, how you doing today?
Hi, I do exist.
You do
No, I'm
exist.
I'm doing really good. Really
Well,
good.
that's good. Thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast. Um, it's good to see you. I guess we only speak or see each other at the reunions,
Yep.
so it's always good. You're always fun to be around, hang around. Hopefully this next hour or so will be just as fun. All right.
I I probably have like 30 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. So, no, I'm just kidding. Somebody said you'd be surprised. So,
Yeah, you
anyway.
you will be surprised. All right. Well, when we talk about Vernon High School, what are some memories that come to mind?
Um, I kind of, when I listened to Jay's, I kind of resonated with his about having attention deficit. And so, didn't know I had it, was diagnosed within the last 5 years. And
Hmm.
so, my experience in high school, I had learning difficulties and did not realize it. Just didn't have um, the reading difficulty. I have some dyslexia, so I discovered that recently, and so it was a struggle. High school
Yeah.
was a struggle.
All right. So that's the classwork. So in the classroom, what how did that impact you? And looking back at that.
Well, I I I asked a lot of people if I could copy off their papers. I'm not gonna lie to you. And uh yeah, it was just a struggle. I mean, I didn't yeah, my grades were, I guess, just barely passing. And I realize now that high school, I went there more or less to socialize. I didn't realize, to be honest with you, I was supposed to learn something. And I really didn't know what impact it would have with me on the future. Like I didn't, people are like, oh, I knew I was going to college and I had no clue. It was kind of a surprise. I've got to get a job. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I feel kind of like I was a little clueless. Like I said, I was just there to, you know, meet up with my buddies and my friends. And of course, I loved playing volleyball. So I enjoyed getting to do that. But
Right.
yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but like I said, I'd always find the right people to chit chat with, and I'm definitely a talker.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. But tell me about your volleyball days. So did you play volleyball all 4 years?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the annual, kind of trying to get a refresher course, because it has been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm not as detailed as everybody else. On the fifth inning, I struck out. I'm not going to do that. Um, But no, me and Tammy Cassie, we got all district, voted all district players, our senior year.
Wow.
So I looked at the players and stuff, and there were like just three seniors on the team. So we struggled. We won some games and we lost some games, and didn't really make a big impact or anything like that. So, but no,
Okay.
I love volleyball. I still
Yeah.
love volleyball today.
Yeah.
So.
When you say didn't make a big impact, what do you mean?
As far as we didn't win district or
Oh,
anything like
okay.
that. We didn't even come close to. to winning district or anything like that. I mean, I just showed up for the games and
Yeah.
played basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what were practices like?
Um, Miss Rader was our coach
Okay.
for varsity and stuff, so she wasn't too strenuous with us or anything. Nope, nope. Like I said, it wasn't like a. I think people they dwelled more on basketball versus most people played basketball.
Hmm.
Um, I'm definitely a follower, and I'll tell you, my sister Shirley, Shirley Hulett. I don't know if
Hmm.
people. They probably. I know some people know her. Anywho, she's 2 grades above me, and Shirley played volleyball. I played volleyball. Shirley was in the choir. I was in the choir.
Oh,
Uh, Shirley was in the drill team. I did the drill team.
okay.
So basically, um, my friends were in the band. So you thought I maybe they played softball. I didn't
Okay.
play softball. They played basketball. I didn't play basketball. So just
Okay.
kind of just followed Shirley.
All right. And so in the practices, did you guys have to run or anything like that, or did you pretty much just practice, you know,
Y- Yeah,
digs and
volleyball. Yeah, no, volleyball was just, practicing your spiking and the setters and, passing the ball and things like that. No, no running for that. I mean, it would have
okay.
been beneficial, but
All right.
no,
Uh,
no.
did so you said choir. Maybe I should have checked the annual yearbooks more, but I don't know why it surprises me. But what was choir like?
I didn't do it my senior year. I did it my junior year.
Okay.
Um, I think I kind of signed up for some classes because I realized if I signed up that it would get me out of class.
Oh.
And so that was always a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was a soprano, and so I enjoyed it. Eighth grade choir, Mrs. Kishnick in intermediate. I
Hmm.
enjoyed that saying, but no, it was
All
good.
right.
It was fun.
So only junior year of choir? Not
Yes.
special. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
the senior year I did the distributive education where I worked, and
Okay.
so I really just like everybody said they worked like went to school half a day and then they got to go to work and stuff.
Right.
So
Where did you work?
for a minute I worked at no, let me think of it, Taco Plaza. I almost
Taco
said Taco
Plaza.
Casa. Taco
Yeah.
Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually I guess I followed everybody else and I did the United Supermarkets.
Yeah,
So
United. Okay.
yeah, yeah, that
And
was
so it was in high school? The
it was high school. Yep.
okay. All right. Uh,
Yeah.
I remember that. So when you were at Taco Plaza, I can remember when that kind of opened up, I guess. But did you work with any classmates or schoolmates?
No,
No?
no, no, there were older ladies. One lady, she was, yeah, and then another girl, one lady was probably in her 50s, and then the other girl, she was probably in her 30s that I kind of really remember. I don't think I'm missing any classmates.
Okay.
I didn't work there super long, but no, it was fun.
All right. And did you go to, I assume, on like choir trips or competitions and that sort of stuff?
I didn't go on any competitions because I
Okay.
really didn't want anyone to hear me sing. I didn't think I was a good singer, so I never did a competition. We would go to different places and perform. Um, you know, but Christmas time we had all of the Christmas songs and things, and we'd go different places and sing for
Oh,
people. So
where would you go?
like nursing homes. I think then I guess there was like maybe a local concert or something like your parents could attend and stuff like that, but
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, I didn't join. Yeah, I didn't want to sing. Yeah, I
I
sound
joined, I
terrible.
joined the choir, but I didn't want to sing. Did you sing
Not by
solos?
myself. I was like super insecure, so I did not
Yeah.
want them. Now volleyball, I could play volleyball. Back then,
Yeah.
I didn't care who. I was very confident in volleyball playing.
Okay.
So yeah, that part
Well,
was good.
Well, what was drill team like?
Um, we start, I guess, in the summertime, and so, making it to the practices, and then, of course, if you didn't, we didn't get it right, we had to do it over and over. I know it was one of the taller girls, so believe Beth Jordan, she was close to me. Tammy Hernandez, I believe she was close to me because we were
Okay,
somewhere in the middle there.
right.
So,
It went like kind of went like this, the tallest to shortest kind of
yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
all right. So what were those trips like, or going to perform halftime, stuff like that?
That was fun because, you got to, once again, I got to socialize with all my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, we got to perform. So, okay. I performed and then I'm going to socialize again.
And were you there all it's 3 years,
I
right?
didn't,
Sophomore.
I didn't do it my senior year.
Oh, you didn't?
Again,
Okay.
no, because I got out of school to go to work.
Working,
So
right.
I kind of dropped the extracurriculars because I was already getting out of school
Okay. All
to go
right.
work.
Any memories or thoughts of hanging out with friends at school or after
Yeah.
school when you weren't working?
Well, my kind of the closest friends, like Norma Rios and Christy Swerzinski, um, they became my friends in intermediate, and so,
Okay.
um, yeah, they were always there. There was always a good backbone for me. I could count on them. Um, I used to. I think I hung out with older kids too, like Lori Thiele. Um, Her thing, oh, Gina McDonald, she was older and stuff. But I know some people didn't do, they studied and they worked really hard and things worked out great. I was socializing and we found out where some keg parties were,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna lie. I I went to several keg parties
Oh
with my
no.
friends. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad
No,
girl.
you're not a bad girl. You're
But
just having fun.
I did have lots of fun, too much fun probably. Um, but yeah, and then we used to go to Electra. I guess people kind of know why people drove to Electra for.
For those that are
And
listening, that's the county line. You can go to
yeah,
the county.
yeah, and we met some older guys, and they would purchase, some beverages for us that we weren't allowed to purchase yet. And so yeah, we did that quite a bit, and that was
Okay.
fun.
All right. Were there any of of the did you do track? Didn't you run track?
I did do track.
Yeah.
I did the easiest possible thing you could do in track because I
Okay,
wanted
what
to
was
get out of
that?
class.
Yeah.
I did the triple jump.
Triple jump. Okay. How did you do in the triple jump?
I think the highest out of, all the local schools and stuff. I think I got a couple of fifth places. There were some really fit girls and faster girls, and yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Yeah, I was happy with fifth place. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Hey, I'd be happy with fifth place. Did you what did you learn from being in choir and drill team and volleyball and track? What did you learn from those activities?
Um, I'm gonna say the extra, my socializing. I'm telling you, I feel really bad that I missed the memo where, you're going here to get an education to further, your life or start you in your life. Um, now that I'm older and I have kids, I learned, and so both my kids, they're great people and they're educated, and I kind of lived and learned. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad retired from the Air Force, and so he worked all the time. He went to work after he retired. He went to Center South and he
Okay.
worked the midnight shift for 20 some odd years. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And I think she got like maybe an eighth grade education. And so, she really wasn't like pushing me, if she saw my report card, she was kind of like, oh, yeah, you did good. And I'm like, Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you
So,
passed. Yeah,
yeah,
good.
I
All
passed.
right.
But my thing was, is I always said, I want to be like my mom. I guess that's a common thing with, some kids.
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought. I thought, well, I want to get married and I want to have kids and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I wasn't planning. When I did get out of high school, my dad said he would pay for me to go to BRJC to be, for nursing. And I
Okay.
was like, no, I just got out of school. Why would I want to go back? So,
Right.
yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't for me.
All right. Well, before we move on to after school, who were some of the either teachers or coaches or uh, sponsors or whatever
Mr.
that
Robertson in distributive education, he was fun, he was a character and he was really chill with everybody. So I mean, it was almost like socializing with him.
okay.
Miss Rader, um, you know, because she appreciated, being in the drill team and being volleyball. So I think
Hmm.
she was, she never did anything mean or nasty to me or like that. So, um, I tell you what, my biggest influence was not even in school, and it was at the girls' club.
Oh,
Um, in intermediate, there was the girls' club, and then, further south of town was the boys' club. And a lot of kids went there because their parents worked, so they would go to the girls' club. Well,
right.
my mom was home, but that's where my friends were going. And so I thought, I want to go there too. But Miss Campsey, um, she was running the girls' club and she was such a good, kind-hearted person. And, she made everybody feel important. And I really enjoyed that, and it gave me a lot of pride when whenever I do anything good there. I can't really necessarily say that I found a teacher in school that did that,
Mhm.
um, but now I watch TV shows and I see where a kid is struggling, and then the teacher comes there and they're trying to help them, and I'm like, nobody tried to help me.
You didn't have that experience, huh? All
No,
right.
no, I did not. I let Kyle Witt said that his math teacher said come here in the mornings and I'll help you and tutor. And I thought maybe I wasn't paying attention, but
Hmm.
didn't nobody say they were going to help me. So I didn't ask questions.
Hmm.
Um, there was another situation in me growing up that had a lot to do with my life. Miss Oliver was I was probably maybe sixth grade. She was an English teacher at intermediate, and kids were all around her desk, and she was an old lady, really old. Um, I don't know what question I asked her, but she just looked at me, and then she picked up a book and she popped me right on the head kind of hard. It was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And I thought, ugh. I didn't know what I asked her, of course. All I remember is being hit.
Yeah.
Um, and so I feel like I didn't want to ask questions anymore because that negative really impacted me like that.
Yeah.
So I don't like confrontation. I try to avoid it at all costs, but I just prefer to be happy.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I'm sorry that had such a negative impact on you. And no teacher should be hitting
Yeah.
folks, but I guess I don't know.
That right there has I feel like I'm an advocate for children. I don't ever want to see a child being bullied, being picked on. I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely um will say something. I mean, my last job I transported foster children, and
Hmm.
I tell you, those kids, Miss Donna, I made
Okay.
sure they were all good. And
Uh,
so, but yeah, even my
okay.
kids' friends, if somebody like their parent didn't show up to an activity or something, and then I felt like the teacher was kind of being snarky to them, I'd be like, oh, no, we're not
Okay.
going to be like that.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Hmm. Well, so that's what you got from. But it's interesting you talked about Miss Campsey. Uh, what is it you talked about her made you feel good because she was what is it that she did or said that specifically that you remember that helped you?
Her personality was, I mean, you would never know that, she was running the show. I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like she gave her bubbly personality, like she made everybody feel welcomed. Um, and and like they asked me to do certain tasks because I don't know how old I was there. I was like getting old, and they were like, she needs to stop coming here. No, but like I would help with the class. Like I would do bingo with the smaller kids, or I'd
Okay.
help with an arts and craft project. The kids were doing and stuff, and so she kind of gave me some responsibility, and
Okay.
so. Yeah, and I
All right.
like helping, and I think that's the thing. I always have enjoyed helping people. So
Okay. So the girls club, so is there some certain point that you talked about, you're older and you're helping the younger ones that you graduate out of girls club and you're
yeah, I guess you just stop going. I mean, what's
okay.
funny is I'm not sure which one. Maybe Norma got Girl of the Year or something like that, and I don't know if Christy did or not, but I think they finally gave me Girl of the Year, so I'd stop coming.
Well, maybe so. I'm sure. What did you have to do to get girl of the year?
Well, I guess just because you assisted and
Okay.
you were a positive person and yeah, just
Hmm.
interacted real well with other people and stuff. So,
Okay.
like
All right.
somebody that the younger girls could look up to,
Okay.
basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So you had some hurdles with the schoolwork, sounds like. After what did you imagine your life? You talked about, graduation or, after graduation, you didn't really think about getting a job or whatever, but so what did you think your life would be like after graduation, or did you even give it a thought?
I didn't give it a lot of thought. I know that Christy moved to Oklahoma, and so she was gone. And then Norma started going to college, so I couldn't run around with her anymore.
Hmm.
And I met a person, and yeah, that person just stuck around and stuck. And so finally, I ended up with that person, and then it's just kind of like I just ended up being a wife and a mom.
Okay.
So.
Which is kind of what you talked about. You want to be like your mom, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So,
Unfortunately, I don't really want to get into it, but the spouse was not like my dad.
okay.
So I didn't pick very well.
Okay.
But I'll leave it at that.
All
Eh,
right.
But
What?
my big focus was my children. Out of everything, I mean, if you saw me somewhere, you saw my kids. I was at the grocery store. You saw me with my kids. Any place, vacation or whatever, you saw me with my kids.
Hmm.
Um, I was 20 when I got married. I had my daughter at 21 and I had my son at 22. So they were my focus
Hmm.
from then
Okay.
on.
All right. So right after graduation, the first few years, did you before you met uh,
The ex.
the ex? Uh, so what were you doing in those couple of years? Is that United?
Uh,
I thought we worked together at
United.
United for a while, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
Okay.
know Moses and them don't remember me, but Lori Lozano, I remember working with her and Deborah Hill, and there
Yeah.
was an older lady, Lucille. She worked there when I
Lucille.
worked there.
Yep, I remember
Lucille.
Lucille. And
Yeah,
who was Linnell? There was a Linnell,
yeah,
older
yeah.
lady.
Linnell. I think
I remember.
Linnell, I don't know if she's still alive or not. One of the ladies that I saw, she passed away, that
Hmm.
was a staple of people up there. So, but yeah, I ended up transferring to Wichita Falls,
Okay.
and because then I decided to hang out with the ex before I got
Okay.
married. So
Okay.
yeah, I moved to Wichita Falls
Yeah.
and lived there.
Did you move did you meet him before you moved and then that's why you moved there, or did you move to Wichita transfer and then met him?
I was just about to turn 18. My birthday graduation, I was 17, and then the next month I turned 18. And I do remember celebrating my 18th birthday and him being there.
Okay.
So probably, yeah,
All
towards
right.
the end of the school year, I had met him.
All right.
Yeah.
So what, so you got married in Wichita Falls, I assume? You married
Yes.
there? All right.
Yes.
And what was that like leaving Vernon? Are you from Vernon? You born and raised?
Oh yeah, no, I had dad in the military, so I was born in Panama City, Florida, Tyndall Air Force Base. We moved to a few places. The last place he was stationed at before he retired was Rapid City, South Dakota, Ellsworth
Ooh,
Air Force Base. Yeah,
wow.
and I was 10 years old, moved to Vernon. I was
10
10. I
years
think
old.
I was in fifth grade,
Fifth grade. Started intermediate, I guess.
intermediate.
All
Yep.
right. So it did moving around as a military brat, so to speak. What was that like in terms of making friends and getting to know people?
I sadly was the youngest, so I didn't get to go to a lot of places.
Hmm.
The places that they went to when I was like 3 and 4, I don't remember. So
Okay.
basically, South Dakota is the only place. But
Wow.
it was kind of a melting pot because there were so many different nationalities and races and
Hmm.
things of that nature. So yeah. And then I moved to Vernon, Texas. And I, this is probably terrible. I'm telling you this though, but I was listening to some kids talking, and somebody said something about Mexican, and I'm like, I looked and I go, "What's Mexican?" And the person looked at me and they said, "You,
You.
you're Mexican." I'm like, "Okay, but that doesn't help me." What's Mexican? Because in South Dakota there were no, we didn't call people Mexican, and my mom was Mexican, my dad was white. I just thought that was just, I didn't know, but
Hmm.
apparently somebody didn't like Mexicans, so
Hmm. Okay.
but so I got to, I started to realize that some people are liked and some people are not liked,
Hmm.
but no, South Dakota was fun. Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
snow in the wintertime and stuff like that.
A lot of it, I
Yeah.
bet.
When we moved in 74 during the Christmas break, my oldest sister, she was tired of our dad's rules and stuff. Since he was military, he was really, supposedly tough. He was never tough on me, but she decided she'd stay in South Dakota,
Hmm.
and she's still there.
Wow, really?
Yeah, yep, she's still there. I went and visited her last year, me and my sister Shirley. So it's beautiful up there, but she
Yeah.
doesn't have any family or anything. So I'm just like, come to Texas.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
they really
All right.
enjoy it there.
So was moving to Wichita Falls a big risk for you at all?
No, because like I said, all my friends have pretty much, I feel like, left. And so I feel like I kind of was stuck with that person. And so I was like, I guess I'll go to Wichita.
All right. So you're in Wichita
So,
Falls, married,
yep.
had babies. Did you have just the two babies, two kids?
Yes, we ended up moving to Camay. Camay's outside of, kind of near Electra area, Holiday area, because my ex
Right.
worked in the oil field. So yeah, we lived out there, and then when my kids were probably about 5 and 4, we moved to Iowa Park. So
Okay.
majority of the years, my kids started school there and then graduated from Iowa Park. Yeah,
Your kids are hawks? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well,
they bleed green.
all right. So what is what's the day or event you feel like in your life that marked the end of childhood for you and the beginning of I'm an adult now?
I heard you ask people that. Um, I don't honestly have an answer. I think just stuff progressed, and then I was in Wichita Falls, and I was, it was like, okay, this is it. And yeah, things progressed and okay, I'm married. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't an easy, time in the beginning and stuff. So I guess after I got married, um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
that I realized.
All right. And what have been some either hurdles or accomplishments or uh, things that you're kind of proud of in your life?
Um, did I mention I have children?
Yes, you did.
And they have children, so I have grandchildren.
All right.
Granddaughter, very proud. She's a freshman, goes to Memorial High School,
Okay.
and she's on the varsity volleyball team. Thank you very much.
And is Memorial High, this is Wichita Falls?
Wichita Falls, yeah, there's two high schools now. It used to be Ryder and Old High, and they now have Memorial and Legacy. So yeah, but I love that she loves volleyball, and she's
Okay.
on a travel team, and we go all different towns, and they made the nationals. We were in McKinney recently, and their volleyball club team out of 55 teams got fourth place. And
Wow.
she's a really big part of it, with her skills and hitting ability and stuff. So, but no, I went to work at the state hospital. I had done cashiering jobs here and there, United. I worked at the commissary. I worked at Sam's. And
Okay.
I needed insurance because oil field went really bad, and our family, we lost our insurance except
Mhm.
for his. They paid for his, but not me and the kids. And
Wow.
I ended up getting a job at the North Texas State Hospital in Wichita Falls and
Okay.
as a transportation driver. And
Okay.
so I transported the mental patients all over the state of Texas.
Wow.
And I did that I worked there 25 and a half years till I retired.
Okay.
And so I've driven millions of miles, and
Wow.
I've got two tickets. And at that job, I had no accidents. I had an accident, but it wasn't my fault since then. But no, I really enjoyed, with the patients and trying to help them. When they were discharged, that's when they got to come with me, and then I took them home. So some of them were repeat customers, and I'd be
Okay.
like, "You quit taking your
Yeah.
medicine."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, that was
Yeah.
a very good accomplishment. I really, like I said, I really enjoyed that. And then the job was like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And so I was still able to help with my family, like on the weekends, I was home
Hmm.
when the kids were off. And
Hmm.
so I like
Great.
doing that.
Yeah. What year?
Yeah.
What year did you start working for the state
90
hospital?
93. And
93.
then, yep.
Okay.
And then I left in 2019. Um, and then I got on with a company that came to Texas to do part of CPS work, and that was to engage. And I'm very proud of that work. And I was a transporter.
Okay.
I love driving. I just can't
Yeah.
help it. I feel the best when I'm on the road.
Okay.
Don't ever put me in an office with a computer. I I can't
All right.
accomplish anything. But no, I had the foster children. And so, I just wanted their time while they were with me to be the best, because they've been through enough. And so, I bought DVD players, I bought DVDs, and I had snacks and I had toys. And
Oh,
so they all like Miss Donna.
yeah. You did that? Did you do that on your own? You purchased those things on your own?
Yeah.
The company didn't do that? You
Nope.
provided that for them? Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you do that when you worked with the state? Did you have kind of snacks and things? Or is that
The
against the
the
rule for?
state the state provided like they'd send them sack lunches and things like that. So yeah,
Okay.
no, I didn't have to, and I kind of feel, if somebody needed something, I would have gladly, meal or something, but yeah, didn't really have to.
Did you ever take any kind of aptitude test that says like what you would, how they take those tests like in high school or where it says, hey, this is what the field you should go into.
I know. I never,
Okay.
not that I can recall, because
Yeah.
nobody,
Yeah.
said that you're cut out for uh yeah, no. And
Yeah.
like I said, I just, I saw a TV show last night and the kids were all doing the tests, where the circles are. and
Yeah.
like a big test. And I remember going in there, and I wasn't too worried about it, but I knew I wasn't going to do well automatically. And then I started reading it, and then I reread, and then like reading comprehension was tough because I
Mhm.
put like the third word in front of the sentence. And so
Mhm.
then I go back and I'm like, okay, what did I, and I can, I can read. I don't want anybody to think I can't read. I
Right.
can read,
Sure.
but it was difficult. And so like when the test, they're like, oh, you got so many more minutes. And I was like, well, God dang. And I literally put dots down there.
Yeah. Mm. Well, I was asking
So,
that because it seems like given your experience in school and really wanting to feel like Miss Campsey made you feel a certain way,
mhm.
and that Miss Rader sounded like she was supportive of you just being part of the drill team. That and you went into fields where you help other people.
Yeah,
That's what I hear. Is
yeah.
that right?
That's very true. I was joking with Norma Rios because I talked to her the other day, and I was like, what am I gonna say? But I told her like when I go to Sam's and stores, I feel like putting blinders on because when I'm walking into the store, if I see like an older person that needs help putting stuff in their car, can I help you? And I
Okay.
do. I
Yeah.
go over there and they're like, no. And I'm like, no, let me help you. And so then I put the stuff in the car for them. And I do. I just like helping people.
That's great. And I could see that about you and looking back at who you were in high school and when we worked together at United. Did so part of
I still
the
help people at United. When I'm shopping for groceries, if I see somebody hem hawing around, I'm like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, really? You're still helping?
I
Man,
do, and I take them to it.
that's
And of course, if somebody can't get something off the top shelf, I'm like, here, let me help you.
nice.
Um, I
All
can't help
right.
it.
In when you worked for the state, and you took people, you said you would take them, they're being discharged and they're going home, and then but you never picked people up and took them to the hospital?
No, no, the
Okay.
sheriff's department would bring
Okay.
people to the hospital.
Okay. Okay.
They'd be doing something. The patients would be doing something somewhere, or a family would
Right.
call. And
Right.
then, yeah, the sheriff's department would bring them to us. The doctors, they give them the medication and stuff. And I drove them in locally to like doctor's appointments or to the courthouse
Okay.
to get x-rays and things like that. But the majority of it was driving down the highway. And
Okay.
like I may take somebody to Henrietta, drop them off. Then I'd go into Fort Worth and drop someone off. And then I might go to Granbury and drop someone off. And so I always had a staff with me.
Okay.
So the staff was in charge of the patient and I was in charge of the vehicle.
Okay.
So,
All right. All right.
yeah,
And you did that for when did you
20
retire?
25 and a half years. I retired in 2019.
Okay, 19.
Yep.
And the other company you work with, that's working transporting kids,
Foster
foster
children. Yeah.
kids. Okay,
Yeah.
what was that like in seeing those kids? I know you have a heart for helping and for children. What
Yeah.
was that like? I'm guessing there are some
Oh,
homes life
there's
was,
some really tough situations,
yeah.
but I wasn't going to cave in to the tough decision because, what was going on. Like an example of is a child hasn't seen their parent in like 2 months and they were taken away.
Mm,
Could have been in the middle of the night or something. And their first visit with their parent, the child's like super happy. Maybe I picked up a child in Wichita Falls and the visit's going to be in Abilene. So, I'm, talking with the kids and everything, giving them snacks and, asking them how they're doing and they're all excited. And um, so when they see the parent, they're like, "Ah, I miss you," just
yeah.
bawling. And so I'm like, yay. And then 2 hours go by, and then I got to take
Mm,
those kids back to Wichita Falls.
wow.
And they're bawling and they're crying. And, it's like, okay, Donna, work some magic here. And, first of all, I don't. I will say I have lied to many a child, but it's for their own good. Um, I would tell them that mom and dad have to go to work, and they'll look at me and they're like, "Work?" And I'm like, "Yep, they got to go to work." I said, "But you'll see them soon." And they're like, "I'll see them soon." And I'm like, "Yep, you'll see them soon." And I was like, "You want to watch a movie?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah."
Did you have a staff person in that job or just you and your
No,
child?
me,
Really?
yeah.
Hmm.
And some kids, it might be 2 hours, it might be 1 hour, one way they're with me and then the visit and then they come back with me. But one little boy in particular, I had to drive to Houston, spend the night, next morning, 6 a.m., go pick him up. And he rode from Houston to Abilene. He was with me for 5 hours one way. And then he'd get a 2 hour visit with his siblings. And then 5 hours back to Houston. And me and that little boy, we were pretty tight. I'd take him like to Buc-ee's for a bathroom break and get an
Yeah,
icy and, whatever he wanted to eat for lunch. And I tell him Miss Donna feels like she needs an ice cream from the Dairy Queen. And I really did need one. And so it was really for me.
uh,
It wasn't for the child. It was for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
But no, and well, yeah, I had one little boy. It was funny because the mom didn't take the diaper bag. And so I called her and I said, they were at Mr. Gaddy's in Abilene. And I said, I'm going to bring the diaper bag. So I went up there and I gave her the diaper bag. And then the little boy, he saw me. And so he was like, okay, there's Miss Donna. I got to go. So I looked down. I was like, oh no, you got to stay with mom. You get to
yeah.
visit her. But he wanted to go with Donna.
I'm sure they all did.
Yeah.
She gives us snacks and ice cream and
Yeah.
stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so how difficult is that? I'm guessing it's difficult. I don't know to
It's difficult, but I'm happy to do it is the thing. I had some coworkers that should not have been in the position because, I had, CDs for, Disney music and kids songs and ABCs and the wheels on the bus. I've
yeah,
sang that many a time driving down the road. Looking
yeah.
back at them, it's like, oh yeah, we got this. Um, And like my coworkers are like, well, when I'm driving, I'm going to listen to what I want to listen to. And I'm like,
Mm.
you're in the wrong job.
Yeah.
I feel like the kids have been through enough and, they deserve, all the goodness that they can get when they can get it.
Mhm.
And I made sure they got it. So,
So it sounds very rewarding of a job for somebody like you that wants to do that kind of work. Do you feel like that was rewarding for you?
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would pinch myself and be like, I get paid to do this. That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Um, I thought, like teaching or something. I did work at the YMCA one summer and I was in charge of the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, maybe I could do teaching or, an aide or something. And I thought, nah, I wouldn't make them study. Mine would just be playtime.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not, yeah, nobody would learn anything in my class except for how to have a good time.
Well, that's not too bad to have a good time, but it's interesting. So how long did you do the job of
I did that for 7 years. I just recently left in January. They switched our positions, and so we were no longer. They were going to make the social workers do the driving, and they cut it back to where I was watching only visits, and I was in an office on a computer, and yep, I
oh,
said nope. I I didn't hire on for this, and I did it for 4 months, and then I got my 7 years in January, and I put my 2 week notice in. So
okay. All
I
right.
hate that, but I've been
So what do
doing
you
Uber just right
oh
now.
yeah? So driving, okay. You're a driver. All right.
I'm a drive. I have, with the last job, I know I've driven 4, 5, 6,000 miles a month. Is what I was driving.
Okay.
So one month I know I hit 7,000 miles and that was ridiculous. But no, and Uber I've just recently started it and people get in my car and I'm like, "Hi," and there's my socializing. I get to visit, and it's really neat because here in Wichita Falls, Shepherd Air Force Base, I get a lot of airmen,
Okay.
and they're young and stuff, and they're really nice and respectful, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and so yeah. I mean, it's not what I'm going to do forever and ever, but it's it's fine for now.
Yeah. So for those listening who do Uber, drive either, I ride an Uber or Lyft or whatever. There are some people I tend to talk to some people I don't, and it just depends
Yes.
on the driver and how they entertain or, some are just keep to themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
some I know not, I can pick up on a cue, not to talk and stuff. So, I get them where they need to go and have a great day. And, I get tips. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've gotten $20 tips and
Wow.
yeah, I'm like, hey, call me.
Where are people going in Wichita Falls with an Uber? Like where
Well,
would you,
like the
because I think big
base.
city, but
Yeah, Shepherd Air Force Base, the airmen on the weekends, they get to
okay.
go and do what they want to do. So they go to the
Yeah.
movies, they go to restaurants. We
Okay.
don't have a mall anymore. I think
No
there's
more
like
psych
four.
center? Psych center is
Uh-uh.
gone?
It's
Wow.
fixing to be demolished and turned in, I thought, into a football field or something for MSU or I don't know what they decided on, but there's only like four stores even open in it right now.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay. Wow, that's gonna be a long
But
time.
no shopping centers, Walmart, um, yeah, that's where the airmen go. Other people, they may be going to their jobs or, to the bars and they need someone, and I compliment them. I'm like, way to go. That's smart, to call
Yeah.
an Uber. So I'm like, good job, folks. But,
Yeah.
yeah, like that.
All
Yeah.
right. So what do you see for that's what you're doing now? What do you see for future for
I'm
Donna?
I'm thinking I'm going to look into my Social Security and then who knows? I don't necessarily really want like a job where I have to be there. So like if my family wants to go somewhere, like last weekend we went to Runaway Bay, my
Oh yeah.
son's 40th birthday, and we went out there and did the cabin thing and, celebrated and all. And, I didn't have to ask anybody, can I have that day off or those days or,
Yeah.
so I really
That
like
sounds
that.
that sounds pretty good. It's not too
Yeah.
bad. So
Yeah.
you talked about, your volleyball, your granddaughters in volleyball. Were your kids in sports? Were they involved in things like that? You
Yeah, my daughter, she graduated honor roll, straight A. She did honors in mathematics, and then my son, he played football. He got a scholarship to Tarleton State,
yeah,
playing
great.
football. He didn't care for it, Tarleton.
Mm,
And so he came back and then he became a fireman here in Wichita Falls. And
okay.
he did that for like 13 years. He owns his own business now. He does foam insulation.
Okay.
So if y'all need it.
All right.
But my daughter, she's the X-ray technician. She graduated from MSU. She's got her bachelor's as an X-ray
Okay.
tech.
All
So
right, great. And so do you have just the one grandchild or do you have others?
my daughter has a son, Keegan. He's 13. He's in seventh grade here in Wichita Falls. And then my son has his first marriage. He has Landry. She's 15. She, like I said, plays volleyball and stuff. Then my son remarried, and so now I have two other grandkids. There's Tate, he is 13, and then Tucker, he's 11. They live in Alvord. And
Okay.
then my son and his wife have a daughter, and she is about a year and a half now.
Okay,
So
great.
from
All right.
15 to a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
What do
total
they
of five
call
grandkids.
what do they call you, the
I am
grandkids?
no, no,
No,
no,
no.
no, no,
No,
no.
no.
Yeah, I like NAW. And my granddaughter, she's the oldest, so that's what she called me. So yeah, that's what everybody calls me.
All
So,
right.
and I
Well,
love it.
are there relationships that you have Oh, it's a relationship. So what have you learned from your work experience, your career?
Um, I appreciated the state hospital. I didn't make tons of money. It's not, transportation wasn't one of those high paying jobs. And of course, you didn't have to have an education to do it. But um, retiring, I do get a retirement check. Plus, my insurance is paid for the rest of my life from the state of Texas. So
Hmm.
I'm extremely happy about that. Um, the other job, it's just the wonderful, relationships that I had with the children and stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
I feel very accomplished that like, I did the best I could for them and was really successful with helping them with their
That's
journey.
great. Great.
Yeah.
Are there relationships from high school that have stayed with you?
Norma, Norma Rios, we're still good buddies. I'm hoping to go visit her really soon. Beth Jordan. Hey,
Okay.
Beth. Because
Beth.
she's going to watch. Yeah, me and Beth, we're on the phone every day. I've
Every
gone there.
day? Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That is stayed.
yeah.
That stayed with you.
Yep, yep. And then Michelle Pitts, she lives here in Wichita Falls, so I get to see her every now and then and say, hey, her and Beth are really, really close.
Okay.
So there's that with them. Um, Christy Swazinski, she just went out into Oklahoma, and we were pretty close for a while there. But you know, um, I watch her on Facebook, which I love getting to see everybody's stuff on Facebook.
Hmm.
Um, no, probably that's probably. Oh, Kelly Wagner, Kelly
All
Burns.
right. Okay.
We've kind of gotten to be, friends and stuff from the class reunions and all, because she
Okay.
stayed in the same hotel with us, and we're on Snapchat together. So, if I say something, show something, she'll make a comment, and if she does, I'll make a comment. So, but no, just like you, when we go to the reunions, I am genuinely excited to see everybody. I
Yeah.
may have not ran around with you in high school, um, but it's like I know, part of your story and, there's the connection. So, with the Facebook, anytime I've seen anybody, pass away or, like Rita Rivers, I
Yeah.
got to be around her a few days before she passed and stuff. And,
Mm.
again, any way I can help somebody, I bought her some mangoes. And I mean, this was just a couple days before she passed. And you'd have thought I'd given her $1 million because, she
Wow.
was like so happy that she had that mango. And I felt so good that I gave it to her.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
yeah,
Hmm.
and if somebody passes, I do want to put on our class thingy and, let everybody know, if I find out something. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you the administrator for that for our class thing on Facebook, our class group?
No,
Oh,
Kelly is.
Kelly is.
Kelly is.
Okay. Okay.
Kelly is. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh, and
But
so
I
are
I
there,
post a lot of stuff on there.
okay. Yeah, yeah, you do. Are there relationships in high school that have faded away that you kind of have taught you something about relationships?
Um, I guess I really haven't thought too much about that. I mean, even if I don't speak to you or anything, in my mind, you're still my friend.
Yeah.
So no,
Okay. All right.
I just like people.
All right. And so, how would you define success for you?
Um, doing a good job, whatever you're doing, being helpful. Um, I mentioned the marriage thing. There, it was really negative, and so I feel like I did really well coming out of that. So I just want, I just want peace wherever I go.
Hmm.
So just getting along with people. I could be road rage, when I'm driving down the highway, you're not going to
Mm.
see me give a finger.
Yeah.
I realize people make mistakes and I'm like, it's okay, and I usually honk if someone doesn't realize they're about to run me over. But I don't, I'm not mean and I'm not like blah 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 blah, and
Right,
I've given
right,
people that are mad at me, I give them a peace sign and like just chill, it's
right,
not that
right,
big of a deal. But
right. Hmm.
no, just positivity is
Positivity.
success. Yeah.
All right. So, how would you describe what's the impact that parenthood or grandparenthood has had on you?
Oh, that's You know, my mother, even though she didn't have an education and stuff, I mean, she was the best mom. And, I did a lot of stuff with my parents, even after I got married, because it was a good place for me and my kids to, weekends, we'd go on vacations. I'd go with my parents and my kids would. So I feel like I inherited the love of, my family. Um, because of that, So the positivity is I want to be around my family.
Mhm.
They may not always want to be around me. No, no. I'm actually in my daughter's apartment right now. I had to run some errands, and so it took too long. And so I told her, I said, I'm just going to do it at your house. And I see my son. I've already been on the phone talking to him. He's coming over later to watch my granddaughter play volleyball. So I may go do some of that. My
Okay,
grandson's here, so I get to see him.
great.
Um, yeah, no, family's very, very important to me. When I talk to people and they're like, I can't stand my mom, and I'm like, what?
Very foreign. Sounds foreign to you, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I can't even
Uh,
imagine. Yeah.
well, what role, if any, did Vernon or Vernon High School culture uh, how did that play a part in who you became?
It was a very, the fun times. So, that's what I always, look forward to anytime. And, still to this day, if, anything, any gatherings, yeah,
Okay. All right.
fun times.
Uh, uh, so what is something in your journey that you want people to understand that they may not know or see on the surface?
Um, I I realize now, like I said, with ADHD, that it is a struggle. And I don't mean to be bouncing from here to there. I think I kind of stayed focused. I'm pretty sure I stayed focused with our conversation. I'm not that horrible. I took my medicine. But no, I never asked for help. I don't like asking for help, but I want to help.
Mm,
And
mm,
so I wish I would speak up more and ask for help. Um,
okay. All
yeah.
right. Uh, so what do you hope that your story teaches or inspires others that are listening or watching?
Um, Basically, the people that you connected with in school, cherish those times and those memories, and um, reconnect if you can, because this has inspired me to reach out more to more people, and of course, I'm looking forward to the class reunion and everything. Um, Everybody's different. Like I said, I was listening to the other ones, and people, went to college and they had all that experience. And, not everybody's got the same story.
Hmm.
And my story, no matter what it is, I still feel like I turned out pretty decent.
Hmm.
So, and just to be, always to be friendly.
Okay, great. All right, so you're gonna write a letter to your high school self. What would you tell Donna Faye?
Yeah, ask for help for the love of God. When I transport like teenage foster kids, from my experience, I try to pass it along to them. I'm like, if you don't know something, I should ask the teacher. They want to help you, but they're not psychic. And, it's like I feel like if I had reached out, I don't know if they would have helped. I'm not assuming they would, but I never reached out. I never explained that I was struggling. So I do tell the kids, and I try to help them, direct them with their careers. And this is my running joke, if you don't do well in school, I said, I'm the example of how not to be. If you don't do well in school, you'll end up like me. And so the kids go, and they run. No, they don't run. They're like, I like your job, Miss Donna. You're cool, and stuff like that. But no, I do try to encourage them to figure out, what they'd like to do, um, and to ask for help. You know, just
Okay.
give themselves a chance. Something like I said, I didn't really think about that I needed to do.
Right.
So.
All right. Is there anything else, any parting words or something that's pressing on your heart that maybe something I haven't asked that you want to share?
Um, No, just saying that I've enjoyed all the other stories, and like I said, I guess we're all different, and I think just when I, I see people, and I'm just like, hey, I know you, hey, and because we all have that connection and stuff,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
just enjoy
Mm.
enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life. All right, very good. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Donna. It's always been a pleasure talking with you when we were in high school and even at the reunions. It's always been fun. Donna's always fun. I remember that. And always
Yeah.
happy and laughing. And your jobs, I think motherhood is probably the best job there is, and probably the most important.
Yeah.
uh, because our kids need guidance and help. It sounds like you're a pretty good mom and nonna,
Yeah.
and the fact that you get to help people get from one place to another, a conveyance, a coach, if you will, to help them in times of struggle. It seems like
Yeah.
you've been helping people and being a safe harbor for people to get from one place to the next. So I really
Yeah.
applaud you for that. And God, I think, has had a good plan for you in that in
I
your
feel
life.
truly blessed, truly,
Yeah,
really. I
great.
can't complain. I'm in a happy place, and yep.
Well, that's great. Well, folks, that is Donna Faye Hewlett Love that we've been speaking with. So thanks for watching this episode of In a Flash. The years go by, and we'll see you all. We'll see you all at the next one. Y'all take
Yep.
care. Bye
Bye,
con
guys.
Dios. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast. If today's conversation reminded you of home, of Lion Pride, or of a chapter in your own life's journey, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share the episode with another lion, and keep spreading that Vernon Lion spirit wherever you are. And if you'd like to be a guest or nominate someone with a story worth telling, reach out. We all would love to hear from you. And until next time, remember, Lions, Lions, we back you, says the class of '82.
May your life be long, may you finish strong, may you remember where you've been. And if we never meet again, till on the other side, you've made me a richer man, having had you in my life. I am blessed